Good morning. It's day 3 of the Great American Monkey 1000. I think it's Tuesday. We're heading to Moab today, about roughly 100 miles or so on the back trails. It's 7:30. Going to link up with my teammates here in about 30 minutes or so. We're heading out. There's only one place in this town to get anything to eat or drink, and that's a 7-Eleven. So we're hoping they got some breakfast sandwiches or something. But I'll keep you updated throughout the day. Hopefully, we got some cool stuff to show you. Stay tuned.
You're gonna make us famous.
So if you look close, you'll see Johnny's Razor back there in the background. He's trying to get some cool pictures of us sitting on this highway at the early morning sunrise. But we were heading out of Thomson Springs here on an abandoned highway. I guess it's called the Cisco Highway. From what I've gathered between, doing a little research and talking, listening to Mike, a lot of these abandoned highways were what they used before the interstate system was in place. It's just really weird to me that these exist, and this isn't the first one we've been on. This one's very poorly maintained, but a lot of them actually have like recent repairs on them. I'm wondering, are they like real roads? Do the traffic laws apply, or is it whatever you feel like doing? But yeah, so not complaining about this. It's a nice way to start the day, not getting beat to death. So we're going to transition to some other stuff here real soon. Let's get this out of the way up front. There's going to be a lot of riding video in this video, but that's what we did. So hopefully y'all stick around and don't click away, and really stay tuned for the experience. It's pretty epic. So as you probably gathered, we just crossed over an interstate bridge, and now we've transitioned off of the abandoned highway, and you're going to see here in just a second. This is what I call cow pasture. We rode through this for several miles, and when we first pulled into it, it didn't look like a big deal until we realized that every single one of these little tufts of grass that you see on the ground is a mound. The trail was very, very poorly defined, and there were prairie dog holes all over the trail, the size that could swallow up a small human. So we were constantly dodging prairie dog holes and these mounds and these tufts of grass, and trying to figure out, where is the trail we're supposed to be on. We made it through, but it wasn't without a little bit of fun. And you'll see once we get to the top of this, it was pretty epic.
Well, yeah. Slippery there.
Making our first stop here on day 3. Come up over this hill and we're like, what's this pile of rocks doing here? Well, not sure if you can see on the camera, but I'm guessing it's because of this. Probably don't want to come popping up over this hill and go straight. We're just getting refreshed here. We had a pretty rough ride to this point, so we're kind of resting.
Do you roll your GoPros all the time, Mike, or do you turn them off?
If you look off to my right side here, you're going to see that the side of the road drops off pretty significantly, and I'm moving at a pretty good clip. Here's the deal. I was so focused on the conditions of the road and what was coming in front of me because I was leading our group and calling back and letting the guys know what I was seeing and experiencing, that I didn't really get to see a lot of this stuff until now while I put this video together. And had I known that there was like a 30-40 foot drop off to my side, probably would have been going a lot slower, but hey, I survived.
There we go. We're in a different planet again. Take it easy on the corner. Roughage. Big rock.
This is what I was talking about with the constant changing of the terrain and whatnot. We're into this sand stuff, and it's like what I call moon dust. It's 10 to 12 inches deep, and it just rips you around. And I know if you're watching Mike's videos, he's talked about that a lot. This stuff is really, really hard to negotiate, but we went through a lot of it, and thankfully, we kind of figured it out towards the end.
There's a lot of these different actions along the hill. Pull into it up over the hill. straight on the blue line. I am dead on Dome Plateau. You want to go back?
So this was our first small little taste of some craziness before we even decided to go up to the top of the world. And I thought, if this is as bad as it gets today, I'll be all right. Little did I know. So keep watching and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Easy does it there. It's interesting here.
So yeah. Well, it was fun up there.
You guys bikes holding up?
What's that?
You guys bikes holding up good?
Sort of.
Very much constant
repairs.
petting.
So at this point, we had made the decision that we were going to take a little excursion to the top of the world, which was, it was an alternate route we had planned. Wasn't necessarily part of our plan, but we felt like we were making good time, and we knew that we were in a good spot to take a kind of a back trail up to the top of the world versus going up and down Rose Garden Hill. So I don't know if you can see in the video, but just imagine when you go and you buy like river rock to do your landscaping. We were riding on a lot of very similar rocks to like river rock, but they were the size of like baseballs and softballs. And we didn't know if we were ever going to get out of it, but we thought that, you know, once we get out of that, how much harder how much harder could it be? Well, you will see here in a little bit that this river rock was the least of our problems. So this excursion to the top of the world was about 20 miles round trip. It's a little over 9 miles out and back. And we figured, we've been riding, close to 100 miles every day. What's an extra 20 miles to get to see that? Well, we haven't even got into the hard stuff here. And I'm sure you've seen that it's been beating me to death. So stay tuned. It's about to get really interesting.
I'm going to stop this real quick.
So here we are. We just had another major change in terrain on the trail. And as you can see, now we are, I guess this is like slick rock. Some of it, we're just up and over and down and around all these rock formations in the trail. There really was no other way to conquer it. We just had to hang on and hope for the best. You'll see as we go through this, it just keeps getting harder and harder as we get closer to the top. as you can see here, I'm getting literally beat to death. And something I learned as we were, this was day 3, I learned, going over this type of terrain, your first instinct is to slow down, stop, and try to crawl over things and go slow and be very, very careful. But, we had these bikes loaded down with tons of extra weight, especially me. I had weight on each side, I had weight in the back, and I learned that continuing your forward momentum is way easier. It makes it way easier to get over this stuff and keep the bike balanced. The minute you try to stop and go and stop and go and stop and go, you're fighting the balance of the bike. So I found that the trick for me was to just keep moving and, again, hope for the best as I'm going over some of these obstacles in the trail.
Oh, that's that other trail. Not too late to turn around. I know. We're going to lose a bunch of time on this one.
Well, you know what? We can just, when we get back out to 128, we can just take it all the way between Moab. We don't have to do all the other trail.
Oh yeah? Okay. I didn't know what we had there.
Yeah, when we get back out to, once we go back out this way, we get back out to 128, we're going to go south on it, and right before we get to Moab, the trail was going to have us go Onion Creek and make a big loop. But hell, we can just stay on 128 because it's right in Moab.
Yeah, we might very well make that call, huh?
Yeah, I think so after this.
We still got to get down.
Yeah. We'll be following right along Colorado River.
So if you haven't figured out at this point, we kind of got separated from Stuart and Johnny back in his Razor. It wasn't intentional. It's just like I mentioned earlier. Once you get that momentum going, you just need to keep going. And I think they may have taken a different route. There were a few bypasses that Mike and I took or we didn't take, and we just got separated. But eventually, we get all caught up and we get moving forward again. Thank God for the Cardo